Let's talk about split pea soup. Welcome back to Sprung On Food. I'm your host, Kae Sprung. This season, we're talking about favorite foods, the history behind it, and the role it plays in the world today. Joining me today is managing editor of Sporked, Gwynedd Stuart. Gwynedd, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I am very excited that you are here. Your life is so intertwined with food that I'm just excited to kind of get that energy off of you. And your favorite food is split pea soup. I've got to know all about your relationship with this food, why it's your favorite. Tell me all the things.
It's one of those foods when someone asks you what your favorite food is, I feel like it sends you into just like, I don't know, what is my favorite food? And I started thinking of things that I was like, what am I always in the mood to eat? That was like that was the question that guided my answer. And I feel like split pea soup is one of those foods that's like, soup, I think anyone who tells you soup is only a wintertime food is wrong. Like, it's like something that I think can and should be eaten all year round. And split pea soup in particular, I think is just something that's like, well, it can be kind of like, depending on how you make it, it can be kind of springy, or it can be very fall-like, or it can be very wintry. And I had honestly just recently been to a restaurant here in California called Split Pea Andersen's, which is like a roadside restaurant along the 5 freeway. It's like Dutch themed and it's like very kitsch. And their split pea soup is like really basic, but it's just like, who doesn't just love, like, I think one of my other answers to you was like a bean and cheese burrito. Just there's something about mush.
Aha. So it's a
Mush.
textural thing for you.
Yes, I love delicious mush.
Wow. And so what's interesting too is that, yeah, I think that texture lends such a big, I don't know, component or thing for people when it comes to food and maybe what they enjoy and what they don't.
Yeah.
And maybe some people might be averse, different strokes, different folks to like that more of like a, as you affectionately call it, mush quality. What do you think it is for you? And does it span to, aside from the burrito, all other types of mush foods? What other ones might you consider in that bracket?
I think that it's just like anything bean or like legume based. Like, it's just like, I love it. It's something that fills you up. That's incredibly pleasing to eat. There's like not a lot of frills necessarily. I think that is just like, it's the ultimate, that's comfort food, right? And I think when you're thinking about what your favorite food is, it's like, well, what do you consider to be the ultimate comfort food? And I think that's what I'm looking for. Something you just don't even need teeth to eat.
Right. Yeah. As you were talking about the mush, I was like, wow, this is very accessible from day one to last day folks, because, I even got just like a snapshot in my mind of braces, or, if you have any kind of like oral surgery or anything similar to that, it's like, these are the types of foods that, like, well, I don't have to, you could blenderize just about anything.
Sure.
But these are foods that in their most common state are already this way. And so it becomes very accessible, familiar, and I don't know, just ever present, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love that. I really, yeah. Split pea soup is something I can continue to eat into from baby to old age. It's going to take there.
It's for everyone. Is there perhaps a version that do you make it yourself, or do you kind of want to acquire it outside of your own kitchen? Do you have a recipe?
This, I think, is another interesting thing about split pea soup is I think that like coming out of a can, it's actually really good. I am the managing editor of Sporked. We are constantly taste testing packaged foods. And I will say that our split pea soup taste test was a really good one. Like, I was like, this is so many canned soup. I mean, like, what, 80%? I will say 90% of canned soups are going to be better if you make them at home. If you're making soup from scratch, it's going to be better than the canned version. But since I've lived in California, like, Split Pea Andersen actually makes a canned soup. Like they have their own packaged brand of soup. It is almost exactly like what you get in the restaurant. Like it is so zero frills. Like there's almost nothing in it. It's just like it is a pea puree basically with some like onion and garlic, and that's like basically it. Like there's nothing to it, so why make it at home? I guess.
Right.
And that's the other thing about a split pea soup. Andersen's in the can is completely vegan.
Right.
It is for everyone.
It's a soup for the people.
It is, yes.
It's poetic and beautiful. And of course, to better understand and appreciate our food, we've got to know where it came from.
Absolutely.
Today, we're talking about something humble, hearty, and surprisingly ancient. A dish that's warmed bellies from Athens to medieval monasteries from your mom's stovetop. It's time to honor the neon green classic split pea soup. This soup may not win any beauty contests, but behind that green bowl is a story that stretches across millennia, continents, empires, and dining halls. It's a tale of survival food turned culinary comfort. Let's start with the pea itself, because split pea soup begins, of course, with this ingredient, scientifically known as Pisum sativum, aka the garden pea. But we're not talking about the sweet, bright green peas that you find in frozen bags that you might also use as an ice pack. We're talking field peas, tougher, starchier, and specifically bred to be dried and stored. Same species, different variety. The earliest archaeological evidence of pea consumption comes from the Near East, the region in Western Asia and the Eastern Mediterranean around 8000 BCE, where wild peas were collected by Neolithic people. These foragers in present-day Syria, Turkey, and Iraq weren't yet growing peas intentionally, but they were already fans of their protein content and long shelf life. Once cultivation began, probably around 6000 BCE, peas became a staple crop alongside early grains like barley and wheat. By 5000 BCE, domesticated peas had made their way into Europe and Central Asia, hitching a ride with early agrarian cultures. And here's something pretty cool. Peas show up in Bronze Age settlements, Egyptian tombs, and prehistoric Swiss lake dwellings, early evidence that people were storing them in clay jars and containers, much like we stock pantry staples today. They were one of humanity's first long-standing shelf-stable foods, an ancient ancestor to our modern-day dry goods. Gwynedd, it's kind of fun to imagine an ancient or prehistoric pantry. If you were to open up your own general store or like little pantry shop, what are some items that you would have to have in there for sure?
I think that the idea of having like actual dried peas is so cool. Whenever I'm at the grocery store and I look at, all of the dried beans and stuff like that, I'm always like, you should buy those and you should reconstitute them and you should make like some really good soup or chili or whatever. Lentils. I love lentils. Really, truly. But I usually just like for beans, I usually just buy canned. But yeah, no, it would be a lot of, right? Like a lot of just like peas and lentils and maybe not kidney beans because the skins are too thick, but white beans.
Now, we left off at 5000 BCE, but split peas, the smooth surface legumes that fall apart in soup, came much later. To get a split pea, first you have to remove the outer husk, which doesn't happen naturally. That requires processing, traditionally done by pounding to loosen the tough outer skins, then winnowing, which is the act of tossing the peas into the air so the lightweight husks blow away in the wind. How romantic. This age-old technique was eventually replaced by mechanical milling in the 18th and 19th centuries, which made the process faster, more uniform, and ideal for mass production. The invention of mills that could officially dehull and split dried peas made them quicker to cook, easier to digest, and pretty much better for soup. So while split peas-based soups date back thousands of years, split pea soup as we know it, smooth, creamy, and quick to cook, really emerges in tandem with the industrial food systems of early modern Europe. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's check out Greece. If you're imagining ancient Greeks eating olives, lamb, and honey cakes, you're not wrong, but they were also big fans of legumes, especially lentils, chickpeas, and peas. By the 5th century BCE, street vendors in Athens were hawking hot pea soup to the public. In fact, the Greek playwright Aristophanes makes a passing reference to hot pea soup in his 5th century BCE comedy, The Birds, describing vendors in the Athenian marketplace selling it fresh and steaming, an ancient shout out to street food culture. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it tells us something important. Pea soup wasn't just home fare. It was fast, affordable, and sold hot in public, possibly like the hot dog cart of its day. Gwynedd, sounds like this would have been right up your alley. Are there any soup carts that you've seen or know of? Is this something that you have to start yourself?
I will say that has been one of my I have a note on my phone called Ideas LLC, but one of my ideas is absolutely a soup truck because there aren't enough soup trucks, right?
Yes.
Like a rotating like a lineup of like maybe 5 soups that you're making in advance. It would be super fast. Like these are all pre-made. So you're just ladling out soup to people. You could serve it in a bread bowl. Like, wouldn't it be cool?
Listen,
so this has like completely like, this has made this idea reemerge for me. And now I'm back on the soup truck train because I think that is the best idea. There is a restaurant I lived in Atlanta for a while. There's a restaurant called Super Jenny.
Oh,
it was just like a soup and salad restaurant where you could just go and you would get like a cup of soup and then like a little salad to go with it or whatever. But it was just like, depending on the day you went, there were different kinds of soups and it was just like incredible. Like I love soup. That's what I'm revealing to everyone.
This may be your next calling. I don't know. I mean, it's an incredible idea. There have to be loads of people out there just like you. And if people think, like you said, it's summertime, it's a winter food, blah, blah, blah. Yes. You can do a gazpacho. You can do other things that are very, appetizing to maybe the questioning individual to really satisfy all flavors and tastes and whatnot. This could be huge. Does it have, and you mentioned the other person's truck name, does yours in your notes app, do you have a working title, a name for the truck?
I was just going to say, I feel like by the end of this episode, we just need to think of the right pun. Like,
okay.
I think we can do it. So,
okay. Yes. Okay. We'll let it marinate in the background and see if anything throughout this sparks and maybe you'll find a winner. Well, the Romans, they kicked it up a notch. Roman cuisine, especially during the Republic and Empire, involved an astonishing variety of legumes. Pea porridge was a common dish among both soldiers and civilians. For soldiers, it was a matter of practicality. Peas travel well, cook without elaborate tools, and provide calories and protein. For the common folk, it was just good sense. Meat was expensive, peas were cheap. It's plebeian math. By the 1st century CE, Roman cookbooks like Apicius, essentially the joy of cooking of the ancient world, included recipes that paired peas with garlic, herbs, and fermented fish sauce, offering some surprisingly complex flavor profiles. While not split pea soup in name, these recipes set the stage for legume-based soup culture that would go on across Europe. And that book might sound familiar if you've listened to the History of Lasagna episode of Sprung On Food, which you can check out on YouTube or available wherever you get your podcasts. Now, let's leap forward to the Middle Ages, when most people were either peasants or monks, and both were big on legumes. Dried peas were a foundation of medieval European diets, especially in northern climates where fresh vegetables were seasonal and meats were preserved or rare. Peas were cheap, filling, and most importantly, fasting approved. During Lent and other religious fasting days, which could add up to over 180 days a year, animal products were off limits. So, for half the year, legumes stepped in as a protein alternative. And so peas porridge entered the scene, a thick, gray-green mush boiled over a hearth fire for hours, sometimes days, then reheated again and again. Delightful. You might recognize the phrase peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold from a nursery rhyme, and it's literal.
Peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold, peas porridge in the pot, 9 days old.
Gwynedd, do you know this nursery rhyme?
I'm kind of obsessed that they're just like eating old food rules. be scared of eating really old food.
It's the positivity, right? Do you have any idea where this could have come from? The context of what they're singing about?
I mean, it just really does seem just like there probably just wasn't a lot of fresh food available. So it was just like encourage your kids to just like eat the same porridge they've been eating for, several days. And it's just like, isn't that fun?
We're having a great time.
Yeah.
It's all perception and marketing, right? Well, in medieval and early modern Europe, especially among poor and working class households, people often cooked a big pot of peas porridge and then ate from it for several days. They'd reheat it when possible, but often it was eaten cold or lukewarm, especially if fuel for cooking was limited. And while it didn't sound the most appealing, this is the ancestor of split pea soup. And here's a fun language twist. The word peas, which was spelled P-E-A-S-E, like please without the L, used to be like flour or oatmeal, what's called a mass noun, meaning it referred to a substance as a whole, not individual units. You didn't eat a pea, you ate peas, as in a spoonful of mush. Over time, English speakers got confused and thought peas was plural, so they invented a new singular form, pea, even though it didn't originally exist. Language is crazy, but one thing's for sure, pea soup stuck around no matter what we called it. By the 17th century, dry pea soup had taken firm root in northeastern Europe, especially among the Dutch and Scandinavians. In the Netherlands, the dish known as erwtensoep, meaning pea soup, or snert, meaning chowder, became iconic. It's thick, almost stew-like, often made with split green peas, smoked sausage, pork shoulder, and sometimes celery root or leeks. Erwtensoep is traditionally eaten in winter, especially after ice skating on frozen canals, which is a very Dutch sentence. Meanwhile, in Sweden, the cultural significance of pea soup reached institutional levels. At soppa, or split yellow pea soup, became a Thursday tradition. Its roots lie in Catholic fasting. Friday was meat-free, so Thursday became a day for a protein-heavy, meat-laced soup to get you through the following day. Served with mustard and thin pancakes for dessert, at soppa evolved from a church custom to national habit. And some old Swedish gossip is that King Erik XIV of Sweden was reportedly poisoned with arsenic in a bowl of pea soup in 1577 while imprisoned. That story, while commonly repeated, is debated by historians due to lack of concrete evidence, so we'll just say allegedly. Regardless, the Thursday soup tradition continues to this day at Swedish military bases, schools, and restaurants. Gwynedd, well, death by pea soup might be like the best or the scariest thing for you. I'm not sure. Have you ever had either the Dutch or Swedish versions of these soups?
I don't think that I have, but like I said, that like split pea Andersen, I mean, it's very it has the appearance of the building is like there's a windmill and like they are definitely angling for like a Dutch tradition, I would say. Maybe it's Danish. I can't remember. I feel like I should look it up.
Well, I might have you put a pin in that because they may or may not come up in this story. So the answer may soon arrive.
I love that.
Well, before split pea soup reached North America, European households, particularly in the Netherlands, Germany, and Scandinavia, had already nailed the art of preserving peas. Peas were allowed to fully mature on the plant, then dried in the sun or kilns and stored in ceramic jars, crocks, or sacks. This created a shelf-stable pantry staple that didn't spoil in winter or during sea voyages. By the 17th century, dried field peas were a common ingredient in Northern European homes, boiled into thick porridges or soup during cold months. When those same families migrated to northeastern U.S. and New York in the 18th and 19th centuries, they simply brought their preserved peas and their soup-making traditions with them. But it was in post-colonial America, particularly in the 19th century, that split pea soup really settled in. The innovation, Gwynedd, any idea as to what started to popularize it in the U.S.?
I mean, poverty?
It's not a bad guess. Not a bad guess. Interestingly, or not, it's ham. So,
okay.
The American version of split pea soup frequently involves a ham hock, ham bone, or bacon. After large holiday meals, especially Easter or Christmas, families had leftover ham bones and nothing went to waste. So maybe the poverty tie in there. Into the soup pot it went, peas were added, and a new sustainable tradition was born. Throughout the 20th century, split pea soup became a fixture in American home kitchens, diners, school cafeterias, and yes, the Navy. The U.S. military frequently served legume soups to sailors and soldiers because of their affordability, long shelf life, and heartiness. And then there were the cans. By the mid-century, companies like Campbell's, Progresso, and Andersen split pea soup helped preserve the dish's legacy in pantries nationwide. And a quick nod to Andersen's, who we've been mentioning quite a bit, by the way. This Buellton, California-based restaurant from Danish roots is famous for its split pea soup. Founded in 1924, Pea Soup Andersen's had a roadside attraction featuring the cartoon characters I think you've seen. Their mascots, two men dressed kind of like a cross between both a chef and a waiter, named Happy and Pee-wee, both spelled P-E-A, of course. Their branding helped cement the soup's all-American, slightly kitschy identity. Gwynedd, there we go for that pea soup Andersen's that you've been talking about. And so now we can confirm Danish.
Thank you.
Heritage. Yeah, of course. And I'm curious how did you first discover the restaurant? Is it because you were like, I love split pea soup, there's got to be a place that has it, or how'd you cross paths with the restaurant?
I love mid-century like roadside stuff, like really anything that speaks to, I mean, I'm actually surprised that it was 1924. That's so early because like usually I feel like things like that, they spring up around the highways, but I mean, it's still, it's like that's shortly after the invention of the automobile and people are hitting the road for the first time. But really, like, you know, once the interstates start being built, that's when I think you start getting these like really interesting roadside sort of places that are really like, so many of them like have interesting architecture and stuff like that because they're calling to you from the road. They're saying, stop, please stop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that is so interesting. And I think it's so cool that a lot of them have survived. Unfortunately, I think the Buellton location of Split Pea Andersen has closed, but the one that's on the 5 freeway that we recently, I went on a road trip recently with one of my best friends. It was so fun. It is actually like a place where you're like, this is amazing. Like, I'm so happy to have like an attraction to stop at. Also, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's a really quick meal, actually. Like if you're willing to actually,
you don't have to chew. Yeah. It's like,
you don't have to chew. You're willing to like stop and sit somewhere versus just driving like through a drive-through or whatever. It's just like, well, if you're ordering split pea soup and bread, it's just like, well, they have it made, so it takes like 10 minutes. This is like that's like a brilliant, I think, roadside restaurant idea. It's really good. But yeah, I'm obsessed with it, and I bought lots of souvenirs.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know if they're this new age and they have affiliate marketing programs or influencer programs, but if not, I mean, if they do, you should be at the top of the list.
They really should.
They absolutely should reach out to you. You're spreading the gospel for free, which is great, but like the possibilities.
Honestly, Pea Soup Andersen, reach out. I'm your biggest fan. I also learned while we were there, we hung out for a while. They have this beautiful dining room, like there's the main dining room and then there's kind of a banquet room and it's gorgeous. And it's like,
are you going to have your birthday party there?
I mean, it's actually $2,000 for that. I have to wait for something.
Is it?
I have to wait for something. I have to wait for like my 50th birthday party. I'll have at Split Pea Andersen in the banquet room. But they have these like high ceilings. It's a gorgeous room. It looks like a church or something, but they have kind of the history all along the walls. And I learned that those cute little mascots they were created by Disney Imagineers, and they really look like early Disney characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Cool. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I didn't I learned about their names and then I kind of stopped there. I was like, okay,
They're
Happy and Pee Wee, very good. Keep it
I love
moving.
They seem like they are, based on what you see them doing in drawings on the walls and stuff, it seems like they are the ones who are manually splitting the peas. Like maybe they might be small, like they might be little men, but
Oh, I
like they are
see.
manually splitting
Like,
peas like with a hammer. Like, isn't that cute?
wow.
I know.
Wow. Yes, because there's no, I guess, scale that I saw in the photos to see exactly their size. Wow, this is so cute. They're doing all the winnowing all by themselves. This is
Yes.
great. Wow.
I love
Okay.
Happy.
Shout out to Happy and Pee Wee.
Really, like honestly, in hindsight, I'm just so glad that I picked split pea soup to talk about because I'm having so much fun.
Oh, well, hang tight. We've got even more fun to come.
Yeah.
Today, split pea soup is both a nostalgic throwback and a nutrition-forward superfood. 1 cup serving of cooked split peas provides 16 grams of protein, 13 grams of dietary fiber, over 30% of your daily folate, plus iron, potassium, and magnesium. Boom. It's naturally gluten-free, inexpensive, and vegan-friendly if you skip the ham, of course. You'll find riffs of it in vegan cafes in Brooklyn with smoked paprika oil, keto blogs adding bacon fat and bone broth, TikTok chefs turning it into pea velouté, which is just a fancy term in French meaning silky pea soup. And yes, it still shows up in cafeterias, diners, and cookbooks. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, but it is long-lasting. So what do we have? A legume that predates written language, a soup that's fed ancient soldiers, medieval monks, Dutch skaters, Swedish school kids, and suburban families with leftover ham bones. Split pea soup is a culinary time traveler. It's thrifty, adaptable, and far more worldly than its humble appearance suggests. It's a tradition that spans 10,000 years, and hey, if it was good enough for Aristotle and a Swedish king, it's good enough for us. Gwynedd, what do you think about the backstory of split pea soup?
I think it's way more interesting than I would have imagined it would be. And I'm so like, I think that's so cool that there's even little like legends about poisonings. And I mean, that's incredible. It's a really, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I really, really, I think my favorite thing about it is it's like, this is an affordable food. It's a food for everyone. And that's what's contributed to its longevity, which is really cool.
Absolutely. Again, a soup for the people. Yes, a
Mhm.
product for the people. They don't even have to have it as soup if they don't want, and have it in its most pure form. Well, while split pea soup might be flying a little under the radar of pop culture, it still had a few moments. Pea Soup is a Quebecois documentary from 1979 exploring socio-cultural themes in Quebec with food as the title, and it's hard to really say if it's the only place that pea soup exists is just in the name of the movie, but there you have it. Our restaurant friends, Pea Soup Andersen's, have an all-you-can-eat Andersen's world-famous split pea soup traveler's special, which as of at least the 2024 menu is $17 and will get you as much pea soup as you can eat during your visit. It's completely vegetarian and made fresh daily using all natural ingredients without preservatives. This includes freshly baked onion cheese rolls or Danish pumpernickel bread and your choice of a delicious chocolate or vanilla milkshake, hot or iced tea, coffee, milk, buttermilk, or a soft drink. Gwynedd, have you done the all-you-can-eat before?
One bowl of split pea soup is enough, I think.
Okay. Is it a generous enough portion? I'm not sure if they do a different portion size for the all you can eat, but you would know better than me.
I actually bought, they sell their bowls, so I think they're just like a standard size of bowl.
Okay.
And I found one bowl of split pea soup to be plenty. But I love the idea. I mean, it's kind of like Olive Garden doing like all you can eat pasta. And it's like, how much pasta can people eat?
Right.
Really,
Yeah,
one bowl of pasta is enough, right? And that's how I feel about split pea soup. It's rib sticking. It's a filling food. And I mean, I think that what is brilliant about marketing an all you can eat deal.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, people they're not going to eat that much of it, right?
Yeah.
So
What
only
is
all you can eat? They're going to have like 2 bowls at most.
It's true. Yeah, people sometimes their eyes are bigger than their stomachs.
Yeah, we each got a bowl of soup, and then you get the cheddar onion rolls, which are, doesn't that sound so good?
Yes.
I know. Like I was like, they have cheddar, like it's split pea soup and cheddar onion rolls. Like what? Am I in heaven?
Because you have had the great privilege of frequenting this place and I have not yet. But the buttermilk, is that something that one might get to wash it all down? It was on the menu, so I'm using
cannot-
their okay.
I cannot imagine. I didn't know any. I guess I thought that the only people who drink buttermilk were like farmers, right? Like old.
I mean, are they even drinking it? At what point? Like maybe during the winter to keep warm? I don't. It's quite an interesting choice, but I won't yuck anybody's yum. But it intrigued me, the fact the options. I love that there were options that ranged from the milkshakes to have with your all you can eat pea soup to the buttermilk. So a little something for everybody, I suppose.
The fact that I didn't know that milkshakes were an option, I think because I was just overwhelmed by the joy of the experience, is a little bit devastating, but
next time
you can always go back. It's not
Yes.
that, it's like maybe, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 hours away. It's not that bad. So
Yes.
anytime, if you're driving from LA to San Francisco, this is a place you should be stopping 100%. Let's keep it open.
Yes. Yes. Listen, and with your affiliate program that we'll be launching soon, we're going to make sure of it. So, well, and the second full week of November is officially designated National Split Pea Soup Week in the U.S., a tradition since 1969. Gwynedd, are there any other pop culture moments that you can think of that involve split pea soup, or just any final words that you have about your favorite food?
I can't really think of any pop culture moments necessarily. Like I'm trying to think, like it's kind of under the radar, right? Like you don't just see people eating split pea soup. You have to come to it on your own.
Yeah, so maybe this should be a call to action to really popularize it more, but show more representation of split pea soup in modern media. Put it in the silver screen, put it on digital shorts. Let's get it out there.
We are being the change we want to see in the world, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it just starts with one or in this case 2 people.
Yes.
And that's it.
I'm happy to spread the gospel.
Well, Gwynedd, thank you so much for joining me to talk about your love of split pea soup and helping me to share its story.
I want to eat split pea soup right now, and I think I have a can of Andersen's in the pantry because I always have one in the pantry.
Oh, beautiful. How fitting. And it really completes the whole moment.
Totally.
Thanks for watching. You can find links and more info in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. See you next time.